Inside Out.
Alright, nkwandiza nate ku the Inside Out ey'olwaleero bulijjo ku mukutu gwaffe guno obubaka bwammwe bwonna bwe muweereza bannaye mbategeeza bulijjo nti tubusiima. Abalabi baffe bali mu Bungereza, mu America, mu United Arab Emirates, wano mu Uganda n'amawanga Africa gonna okutwalira awamu obubaka tubufuna. N'olwaleero nate on the Inside Out na Proscovia Salaamu Musumba. I'm struggling to find a title to introduce Proscovia. She's no longer Vice President of the FDC.
I am the Vice Chair, Forum for Democratic Change. I am also the undisputed founder member of Forum for Democratic Change.
I think I've been.
You see, you can change the future, but you can't change the past.
Oh.
And that's who we are, and that's who I am.
Because I have read that you are out. Actually, you've been quiet. The world knows you have politically collapsed.
Not, I haven't. I have been on an international tour. I'm just coming from Washington. I've been attending the International Democrat Union Forum, at which many big political personalities were looking at the state of democracy in the world.
In this case now you attend under which capacity?
I attend under a center-right politician, under the Democratic Union of Africa, and under the International Democrat Union. All these are difficult concepts for everyday people like you. And so, as a politician, a serious one at that, who seeks to impact society in a very positive way and challenging autocracies, I have been attending the International Democrat Union Forum 2023.
I do not want to say this, but I'll ask.
Yes.
Do you still feel you're a political force to reckon with?
I am. That's why you
You, the
me
individual.
here. I am very much so. And I intend even to be better. And count on me. Politics is not about the size of your body, it's the size of your brain.
Oh.
Yeah.
The size of your...
The size of your brain. And
brain.
if you are empty, you don't belong there.
So as far as political grouping is concerned in Uganda?
I'm right here because I am very passionate about my country, Uganda. I'm very passionate about we, the people of Uganda. And I'm very passionate about democratic change, the rule of law, the space of family, and the way we build society. And politics is the best place to building a society that is robust, that is viable, and that is sustainable.
So tell me about the Democratic Union. What was there? What were you talking about?
Well, we were talking about the state of democracy, the threats to democracy, and the status of democratic governance in the world. We looked at many threats that some are very subtle, some are very obvious to a keen eye, and the quantum of democratic governance in the world. And of course, the world is not complete without us, Africans. And it's not even complete without us, the political actors, and particularly the Forum for Democratic Change.
So even there you represented FDC?
I was there as an FDC member.
Did the Secretary General sanction your travel?
No, he doesn't need to. I'm past that. I'm past that. You guys must understand that when you choose politics as I did, and you choose a political career as I did, you are past some of those barriers. I'm past that glass ceiling.
You don't need the official endorsement
No, I
from
don't
USG
need.
to go to?
I don't need.
So in this case, how would the party meet your costs?
No, other party didn't. I met mine costs.
It's not a heavy cost to make.
It is a heavy cost, but I'm equally heavy. And I'm not complaining.
I like that. So, Salam,
Yes.
don't do you still have a future in politics? with the duty of starting up again? Because what has happened is that you have built a political career which has collapsed. You have it to build again.
You see, you define things in such a basic manner, ordinary basic manner. I collapsed where? Where did I collapse? So where did you find the dustbin where you picked me from, the political dustbin? I am a viable political actor. I can act alone. I can act in concert with others. I am present here. And you have the so many glaring examples to pick from. President Biden is 83. He's the president of the biggest nation on the planet.
Yes.
Yes, I have another 20, 30 years to reach his age, and I am here.
So you are as vibrant, as strong as ever?
And actually much better, because I have a lot of political history. In my toolkit, I have a lot of history, I have a lot of knowledge, I have a lot of expertise that Uganda so badly needs.
You can also stop guessing what is your next step, 2026 going forward.
Don't guess. Let's get to next year, then I'll make a choice where I will be. Because in a dynamic political situation, I can only tell you that I'm present.
You're present?
I am very present.
But you cannot tell what you're going to do next?
The situation and my party will determine where to deploy me.
My party in this case
my
meaning?
My party is the Forum for Democratic Change.
Salah.
Yes.
You're keeping us confused.
I'm not confused. You see, confusion is a choice.
Your party has made a statement to the effect that all of you,
yes,
who never attended the last delegates conference,
yes,
where elections were held,
yes,
and new office bearers found,
yes,
are no longer part of that kind of arrangement.
Listen, you don't read the Constitution. We have governing documents. And that's why I particularly attended the International Democrat Union. Because to be part of the Democrat Union, you must be practicing democracy internally and externally. You must be tamper-proof in your democratic credentials. And that's who I am. So if you do not meet the standards of democracy, why do you want to party with the democratic institutions? So you cannot at all take it away from me and from us who are securing the democratic principles for which we got assembled for which we registered a party for. Please be kind to yourself and be kind to this nation. You cannot talk about fraudsters, political fraudsters, and talk to them about democratic principles. We have a big fraud in Najana and Kumbi. And that is what we, as a party, are telling you, the people who should know better, that listen, and you know they are vindicating us, because now they are following what we told them had to be followed. It is the chairman that calls for meetings of the National Council and the National Delegates Conference. They are vindicating us now.
Let's agree it's a fraud.
It is.
How about if it's stronger than you?
Oh, let it be. If it's a strong fraud, let it be. If it's a haste, let it be.
It is.
Let it be.
It has overshadowed you.
No, it
is
can't.
Swallowing you up.
It can't swallow me. It can only swallow fraudsters like themselves. The choice is yours. Where do you belong? Who are you? What do you believe in? It is, at the heart of it, it is who you are. Because you are only seen by your actions. Not what you say. It's your actions that define you.
I hope you're aware that you are becoming public shame. The public looks at you as moving two steps forward and one step backward.
Listen to me. Your use of words is scandalous. You're scandalous. What shame am I? Tell me, which part of me is a shame? By standing up for what is right, what is constitutional, that is shameful. If that is so, yes, I am ashamed. Because I do believe in what we promised the people of Uganda. democratic change. And democratic change starts with us.
Let's talk about the alleged move to Kamocha. There is.
What is wrong with any move to Kamocha? Who is Kamocha? Their struggle is too.
No, that there's talk that the rejects of FDC, you and the like, will be moving to NUP.
Me to be a reject.
In
FDC. Do you know what it means to be a reject? Rejects don't speak to the world like I do. They are not invited by you. Are you a reject?
No.
Yeah, so why do you define, why do you use all the derogatory things, my friend, to build a brand like you build me? It is years of making.
True that.
Okay.
Okay. The
so
center,
I cannot be a reject, please.
The center has disowned you.
Which center?
The center in FDC has disowned you and left you to the world. Do we see you moving to Kamocha?
You know, your politics is really the kind of gutter politics that I don't want to indulge in. Gutter politics. I don't. I'm far better than that. I'm telling you, I've come from Washington. I don't belong to the gutters. I don't. And please don't take me there. It saddens me that I drive all the way to come here to talk to you about gutter politics. Not to me.
This dominates,
find another
dominates
person.
Our space. It dominates our space. This is what we are talking about.
I will not be part of it. I choose not to be.
Then you remain alone in this space.
Let me be.
And you're comfortable with that?
I am very glad to be part of myself. I'm not looking for accolades.
The inside out with Proscovia, Salaamu Musumba. This morning I will also define and say the tough talking Salaamu Musumba, still vibrant and walking head high. If at a time we thought she'd be crestfallen, hold that things are falling apart in her own backyard.
Which things?
Salaamu seems not to see that things are falling apart.
They are not. You see, you are the one who has fallen apart. Because your principles, your guiding ethos is crumbled. You don't know who you are. So you are representing yourself and overloading it on the public. You are the lost soul. You are the lost soul. Because for as long as I breathe, for as long as I possess what it takes, I will fight for what is good for all of us, the public good, the public trust.
Even when the public you fight for is not with you.
Listen, there are many publics.
Many of us have called it a public good. When the public is not...
A public good is known. I can take you to the Pope to define what a public good is, if you don't know. A public good is defined. That which serves all of us. And even if it remains only me to do it, I will. Because that is a choice I've made. Nobody takes me out of my bed in the morning to do what I do. And nobody pays me for it. And I'm not looking for payment. I am feeling good. I'm happy. I enjoy my life. I am serving the public good because I made a choice. I'm not a fraudster.
Somewhere as we end 2023, let us look at the space occupied by the opposition in Uganda.
Yes.
Broader, narrowing, nowhere.
I'll tell you something. You have a collapsed government. Collapsed for all technical words. Yeah.
Collapsed.
It has collapsed. Tell me what in this term of office has the NRM done?
In this case, I don't want to look at the NRM. I want to look at what the opposition has done.
You see, that NRM has a mandate, a stolen mandate, to lead a country. Let's give it to them. They have it. Run this country well. Go on and lead it, because you are desperate to run it. Run it. And run it in the best interest of everybody. The guys you claim gave you the mandate. Serve them. Because that's your clearest mandate. Whichever way you got it.
So what are you calling a collapsed government? What is that's not working?
When did you last go to your village? If you can afford it.
November.
Because I am sure you may not even afford it.
No,
or even you fear to go there.
I was there on November 27th for Barry.
Okay. The only social activity in the country is burial. You have not told me about a party you last attended. No. The only biggest social activity of Uganda today is burial.
Where attendance is sometimes above choice.
And it is because we only think about death. Death is so important to us. It's not life. I choose life. Life is so important to me. Yes. And that is why in my entire year I can tell you a series of happy things that have happened.
Okay.
Yes. It was my diocese that celebrated in Namugongo. We had a big, big thing. We brought Jesus, we brought the Uganda Matters at the center.
It's true.
Of everybody. We had a very big royal wedding in Busoga. I am going to celebrate Christmas.
So you choose not to think about the bad things that have happened?
Not even to think about them. They are inevitable. Death is inevitable. It will happen when it happens. It cannot be at the center of my living. This is where it is at the center of your living. The only event you know is about burials. So, you cannot define society as such unless you have chosen to bury it. And I choose to work every inch of my life to give hope to myself
and
to give hope
in what you're calling a collapsed government.
That God chose to make me share the world
That is
with.
true.
Yeah.
In what you're calling a collapsed government,
Yeah.
how have you fared as the country's opposition, as the country's alternative force?
What has happened is that we have failed to measure up to the responsibility of holding the government accountable. That is why it has gone way haywire, and it has no checks and no balances, and so it's in free fall. I will give you an example of what obtains today, back-to-back supplementaries of 3 trillion.
Yes.
Supplementaries, you bring one batch and you get it done, approved, and then you bring another one the next day. That act in itself tells you of a government that is not in charge.
What's wrong with the supplementary budget as a former parliamentary?
Listen,
what's wrong with
there
it?
was a budget. The budget process now has been prolonged. It's a cycle. It's a budget cycle. And therefore you are able to project what your needs will be and how you will get the money in. And so you draw a budget like you draw a family budget to live within your means and to define the scope of your activities. You don't come 3 months afterwards to say that, oh, we did not foresee this. It means you're blind. Because there hasn't been a catastrophe here. There's not been a national disaster. There's not been nothing. The government should be in good stead to be able to foresee its plans, its manifesto, its activities within just 12 months. But if a government cannot see 12 months, can it see 5 years? Can it see long range? It can't.
That's how you interpret it.
That's what it is. I don't have to interpret anything.
I thought asking for supplementary budget does not mean I'm not working. I am actually working, but I've encountered bigger demands. Salam.
It means
we have all
you
gone to
have
school.
no forecast. You have no outlook. You have no vision. You are an emergency. Because you can't tell me that, tell me, where has the 3 trillion come from? Has the economy sustained have they collected taxes? Because every time they say they have a shortfall in taxes. All the big businesses have collapsed. The Tatura is asking for
the bailout.
a bailout. Why? Why?
Maybe things don't
This is
turn
the
out.
third. An inspirational speaker.
An inspirational speaker.
Money to everything. I mean, how does it fit within financial and financial management of a nation? Okay?
Who do we blame in this case?
There's nobody to blame. What you do is look at things as they are and know that you have a dysfunctional government which is not living as a government.
Okay.
It moves like a peasant, you know, day to day, hand to mouth.
What would you not look at getting a supplementary budget to support smart agriculture as now supporting income generation, and then
Foolish.
in turn,
Don't even talk about it. Foolish. When they were doing the budget, you mean the word smart has just come to them? Bogus. When you're doing a budget, what are you doing? Everybody clad in a tie. Bogus. Empty. Bogus. Just
smart agriculture
there's nothing smart about agriculture. It's smart theft.
from the World Bank? Because we want to get
The
this money
robbers.
from,
You see,
we want to get this money from the World Bank.
It is a syndicate of robbers. Right from World Bank. World Bank is paid by how much money you've lent out. Even if it is stuck in the vault like this, they will tell you that the non-performing loans, how many are they? That is why I'm angry with us, the opposition. Even if we were only to deal with loans, the unperforming loans alone, we would have done this country a service. There would be information circulating in the general domain.
The information that all your people have picked at least 100 million shillings to support the supplementary budget pass.
I had so.
It's the country's opposition.
I had so.
And when I say I have no opposition to say gutter politics, I normally say there is no opposition in this country. I say gutter politics.
You don't mix up things. There's gutter politics, but there's also failure.
So you call this outright?
Don't mix things. You must teach your children English if you have failed them. Because this is even where we get it wrong in the international community. Because the kind of English we speak and write is not standard. It is adulterated. So that is why you find all the agreements are faulty. Because you don't read English. You don't understand what this means in English. When I tell you I'm not indulging in gutter politics, there's a definition of gutter politics. When I'm telling you that now this is failure on our part, it's not even gutter politics. This is failure. We have failed the mandate of holding the government accountable.
And instead chosen to be conformists and part of it.
I will tell you that I hear horror stories about co-option. That some of our colleagues have been co-opted into the general business of supercats. That let me pick something for myself for a rainy day. But they haven't thought about the rest of us, who is taking care of our rainy day.
If we even have it.
Because we live in rainy days.
We live in the rainy days also. It's a rainy season. For us it is a whole.
It is a
whole season.
It's a disaster. But you see, what goes round comes round again. You can never immunize yourself against bad governance. Bad governance is bad for even the owners of it. I read something on X, what we used to know as Twitter, and it was Honorable Dr. Omona, who in a subtle way said, I can't believe that this is the level of human rights abuse.
And impunity.
If I hadn't had the crying man speaking in a language I'm familiar with, and I watched the whole of it and I said, this guy that was being beaten was so brave that he wasn't even crying. Or they had beaten him black and blue, as the English say, that he had even stopped minding.
He had given up. It was his day to die, he said.
He had surrendered. And so it all brings good pimples back to me. It reminds me of everything we had hoped and prayed that belonged to history. It is back with us in a digital world. And the person who recorded that is one of the people who was in the room. And they are desperately sending a message out there. Because we have told you of how people's nails were being picked from police headquarters here while Kale Kaihura was IGP. Horror stories.
Some would not believe. And this comes from...
Until it comes to you, of course, you will defend. But nobody know what they have done deserves torture. No.
That's
not today. Not
but you also believe
day.
that this is not institutional torture.
Oh, it is.
It's not institutional.
It
is personal.
No. It is institutional. You see, if you think about institutions in a Chinyankole way, because Banyankole have a way of thinking institutions, what institutions mean. If you want to think it in a Chinyankole way, yeah, then it's not institutional. So if it's not institutional, why hasn't it been nipped in the bud?
No, if the UPDF within their system have of punishing and condemning this, then it was not official.
Lie. Lie.
What are you calling that?
Lie.
These were UPDF
Lie.
soldiers who have been brought to order.
Do you remember a person who was pictured during the Northern Uganda War when they were shaving a woman?
Yes,
in the barracks?
Yeah, I remember Nyakai.
You remember that?
Yes.
Where did it end? She died. She died.
Oh.
Yeah, she died. These mysterious deaths. She died. You see, these things don't have to happen. And it takes the Museveni we loved. Maybe we were even mistaken. But the Museveni we loved in 1986, we had even sworn to ourselves that never again. We sound more like the UN, which said never again. And now you see Israel, and you see all these things that are happening all over the world. So the word never again needs to be treated with some kind of proof.
So Salam, we know this.
Yeah.
What is the opposition doing? Because
why are you?
Yes, because we're the alternative.
You see,
what in the alternative are you doing?
This is why you have asked me to give you an answer, and I am doing my best, because I do not have any institutional mechanism apart from my mouth and my goodwill and my democratic credentials. I have no other mechanism of pushback against these violations, grotesque violations. I have no other means except to appeal and to sound them out to the public and to the world. That you see, where we are at is so dangerous, politically dangerous to ourselves and to the world.
What perhaps I need to remind you is that sometimes you fall short of reading the details and you condemn the package. For example, within the supplementary budgets passed,
Yes.
there's the first allocation ever to the creative industry, to the artists. One that would create more jobs, one that would grow our industry. And you know that our music has stood out many times and actually represented us everywhere.
Are you able to
Is
make
that
reference to me of any other country in the world that has done so? Because if you are a Democrat like me, who believes in private property, who believes in small government, in essential expenditure. I mean, all you need to do is to provide, to unleash the energy of the creative world. You do not create it. The creative world creates itself, regenerates itself, and grows itself. It means you're bloody stunted. No creativity, you have joined them. Bogus. Totally bogus. Allow the kids to go out and sing.
And when they sing,
and they bring their own revenues, their own industry. Don't seek to control that industry. What they are doing is to turn it into another handout thing. You don't unleash talent that way. Because what they are doing is to sow discontent within them, start them fighting. They can make that money on their own. They don't need a government to give them. Really? Because they have made that industry themselves. Please don't hand yourselves over to management.
Really? Don't they deserve any assistance from government?
Which
like any other sectors have?
That is not
the farmers assistance. Get it. The doctors get it.
Even the farmers don't need it.
The farmers don't need assistance from government.
All they need is proper management. They need a stimulus package. Buy their produce. Give them proper inputs. You know, you belong to this decayed mentality of being spoon-fed. Dead. That's not what governments do. Show me another government that does those bogus things on this planet.
Have you heard of something called cost-benefit analysis? Why don't we concentrate on the benefits given to them?
Do you know by your own self? Do you know what they call cost-benefit analysis? It's a tool of analysis. It's a tool. Of the tool, then the tool is not complete. What are you impacting? What's the outcome? Intended and unintended consequences of what you're doing. You guys, you belong to a generation of warped thinkers, of people who have nothing better to compare. Some of us do.
500 members of parliament passed this supplementary budget, and one Salaamu Musumba, one against 500.
At what cost did they do that? What is their cut? You just told me yourself. What is their cut? 100 million shillings times 500 of them. That's their price. It was your mouth that just talked.
That's what they told us. They said.
Yeah. So do your cost.
One party leader was asking that they should share this money with families of the victims of this government's torture and the others. So it's their allegations, their own allegations, that this money.
I don't know that part. Torture has no price. Otherwise, if torture was a good to be traded, torture, trade it on the stock exchange.
Yeah, but when you say
trade it on the stock exchange,
share,
if you think it is a good,
it isn't.
It isn't. So what are you talking about? You're taking me back to the gutter politics, which I'm not part of.
You don't find sense in this.
I only find,
as a former member of parliament,
only find calamity.
You never supported the supplementary budget during your time in parliament?
Never had a supplementary beyond the legal provision. And it only happened, I'll give you, that we have to send more troops to the northern Uganda because southern Sudan was supporting the war. It was understandable. It was an emergency. We had things to do with Congo. There was trouble in Congo. To stop the trouble from marching in 2 hours, our country. And even that, we asked questions. We said, how can you take our army to Congo without the permission of parliament? They said, listen, you cannot declare war. tactically it was not viable. So if you have a parliament that instead of asking the hard questions, co-opts itself into the defrauding of a nation, I mean, that's what we elected, and that's what we have. So we pay.
The inside out. The Proscovia Salaamu Musumba, Vice Chair wa FDC, fresh from Washington, D.C. My mind is asking, what is so special about Washington, D.C.?
Washington is
Salaamu
Washington.
Musumba is hot, Salaamu Musumba is tough, Salaamu... This is what the Salaamu is re-energized. I don't know what that happened.
This is Inside Out.